lighting. I don't even knowing. Sorry, again, I'm not acknowledging that the lighting is terrible and there's not a whole lot that I know how to do about it. I'm sure there's a lot I could do about it, but not that I know how to do about it. Hello, welcome to the video. My name is Luca and I like to talk about books. I woke up half an hour ago, so my energy levels are chill, which I think is probably for the better because sometimes they're a little not chill, which I think can be a little much. It's much for me, so as an outside viewer, I imagine it would be also much. I am here today on the 31st of August to do an August wrap up. Oh, although it's not technically, so it's not all the books I read in August because I haven't finished all of the books that I read in August yet. So it's all the books that I read and finished in August because some of them I also started in July. Let's get into it. I have a stack here. These are all the books I have physical copies of. Okay, there's one book. I'll just start with that one. Not a great book, in my opinion, and that was I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I believe it's translated from French, which is cool, I guess. It's sci-fi, written in 1996, maybe, 1990s. It's told retrospectively, but I didn't finish it. I DNF'd it, so I don't know how it ends. Maybe it got a lot better, but to me, it felt very, what did I write? I'll just read, I'll let you know what I wrote. It felt heterosexual and sexist in a not fun way. You know how sometimes people can use heterosexual themes and sexist themes, but like pervert them, like especially when we're writing about women. I didn't, at least at the beginning, I didn't get that. So like that was my kind of biggest turnoff, just the fact that it's so women need men. You'd think in a colony full of women that someone would be a lesbian, right? Right? No, apparently not. And everyone's like, oh my God, it sucks that you'll never know a man's touch. Oh my God, I miss my husband. And I was just like, I don't care that you miss your husband. What about the lesbians in this situation? There have got to be some. You adapt. So it felt very much sexist kind of in that way. Women cannot survive without men. Now, maybe it got different at the end, and that's why everyone on the internet is like, oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. I didn't feel that at the beginning. I got about 30% of the way through. And then I also felt that I just couldn't care less about the main character, and every single sentence started with I. They tell you not to do that, you know? People giving advice say, if you start every sentence with I, you should probably go back and rework those sentences. When I started thinking that I was going to DNF the book, I was then thinking, oh, wow, every sentence seems to start with the word I. And I just started thinking, I don't care about this main character. And since every sentence starts with I, it's hard to read a book about a main character that narrates very personally the book. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense. But those are my thoughts about I Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. Didn't love it. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I didn't get to the parts that I was supposed to love, but the internet did me dirty on that one. Really didn't enjoy it. And that is not my only DNF this month, which is a little unfortunate. But let's get to this pile of books. Let's see. In no particular order, okay? This has absolutely no particular order in it. So, These Violent Delights by Micah Nemerever, which is an awesome last name. I also have an inkling, I think Micah might be trans, so we love that for him. And that made me happy. It's queer. It's about murder. What more could you want? I read this because the book Leo was talking about it. Talked about it a lot on her channel, actually. It's one of like the underrepresented dark academia vibe queer books about unhealthy relationships and like best friends, and kind of similar to Secret History, but like, anyway, it's been a while since I read The Secret History, so I can't talk to that point, but I can tell you that this is a really good book, in my opinion. It feels like a debut. Like, it feels like a debut just by the way it's written. You know, like there's just something that makes it feel like a debut, and I can't really explain why it kind of tastes like a debut to me, but it does. Not a bad thing. It's just like, it's more of a, if Micah Nemerever ever comes out with a second book, I'm going to read it, because his first book was Anyway, so it's about these two kids. What are their names? Paul and Julian. 1970s. They're gay. Paul is sensitive, insecure, and incomprehensible to his grieving family. Yeah. So Paul is kind of quiet. He's like the quiet, burly, strong one. And Julian is the talkative, nerdy, fancy one. And they enter into the relationship that quickly becomes unhealthy. And just wow. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I guess I can't really tell. Like, they just get obsessed with each other in like a not good way. And I was obsessed with the book in a good way. I don't have anything else to say. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. Highly recommend. It needs to be more popular than it is. I think that if people were reading this more, like, people would be like, oh my gosh, I love it. People aren't reading it. And why is that? Huh? Okay. Thank you. And good night. No, I would highly recommend this. It's a thick boy, but it's pretty quick. I like the way it's written. It's not all dialogue, but it's also, I don't know. How do you talk about books? I just like it. Okay. Read it, please. The next book I read, one of the next books that I have on this list, actually, it's not the next book I read, but is Sabriel by Garth Nix. I actually listened to the audiobook of this, which is narrated by Tim Curry, and I would 100% recommend that because Tim Curry, guys. Whoa. So there's a bunch of like creepy, weird, supernatural characters, and Tim Curry's voice for those guys, just incredible. Love it. Tim Curry, wow, okay, you know? Like, yes, he plays It in the original It. I think he also plays King Arthur in Monty Python's King Arthur. Am I crazy? Apparently I'm crazy, don't know where I got that information, but he does play Frank Furter, or whatever character from Rocky Horror Picture Show. And also, when I was Googling him, I found out he plays Auntie Whispers in Over the Garden Wall, which is like my favorite animated short TV show ever. Anyway, he's also in Clue. Like, look him up. I mean, you know who he is. It's Tim Curry. Would highly recommend the audiobook. I also really liked the book. So this is a young adult fantasy. It's about Sabriel, who is 18. She just like graduated, and she has been raised in like the world of the living on the other side of the wall, but on the wrong side of the wall, there's this like magic kingdom and also death. Like, we're closer to death maybe. And her father is the Abhorsen, which is basically a necromancer who is doing something with binding dead. And at the beginning of the book, Sabriel and the reader do not know why is the Abhorsen's job so important. And over the course of the book you learn, so I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's very important. The climax has something to do with the fact that the Abhorsen died. But he's not dead, because people in death aren't fully dead, because like we're in a magic realm. Anyway, so the Abhorsen dies, and Sabriel is now the Abhorsen because it's a title, not, you know, a person. What am I trying to say? Oh yeah, it's really cool. There's a romance, and you like know the romance is coming when the characters are introduced, but they're also like not introduced until halfway through, and I really appreciate that. I really like the cat. What the heck, Mogget. I love Mogget. I love Tim Curry all around. If you're looking for a YA fantasy, this is actually a lot better than I expected it to be. It was recommended to me by, like, I think I was picking it up because the cover art is really cool. Look at that. Wow. And the bookseller, you know, a person at the bookstore was like, oh, hey, would highly recommend that, actually. And I was like, bet, okay. And then I read it and I really enjoyed it. And I actually do want to continue the original trilogy. There's like other spin-offs, not spin-offs, I mean, they're by Garth Nix, but there are 6 books. But like Liralel and then Abhorsen, I think, are the other 2 books in the original trilogy, and I really want to finish them. And that is a good sign for me, because I don't have any qualms about leaving a trilogy or anything like that 1 or 2 books in. If I don't care about it. I really cared about this. I really like Sabriel, I really like Mogget, and I really like the guy whose name I don't remember. The fool. Touchstone. I love all around. I think it could turn out really interesting in the next couple books. I'm going to continue this, and also Tim Curry. The next book in my stack is The Virgin Suicides, Jeffrey Eugenides. Fun story. So I read this, I went to the beach with my friend, and I was like, Max, if I don't finish a book today, I'm gonna murder someone. And guess what? I finished a book, so I wasn't allowed to murder someone. I would never murder someone. For legal reasons, I would never murder someone. For anecdotal reasons, if you know my friend Wade Barnes. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, the virgin suicide. So I read this in a day. It's been hyped so much online. A lot of the books that I've picked up recently have been because I joined the Instagrams, on the book side of Instagram, and like people freak out about books, and like a lot of people freak out about a book, and then it's like, oh, I guess I gotta read it, and then I end up either really hating it or really enjoying it. So it's kind of like a hit or miss for me. So I'm always kind of tentative to do it, but I liked this just fine. I didn't like Middlesex. I had to put Middlesex down. It was weird and not my thing. And so I was kind of iffy. I think it's very important to recognize that this is told from the plural perspective of men about girls, okay? They are men. They are grown men when they're telling the story. It's plural, so it's about like the boys who lived on the street across from the Lisbon girls, who are all the girls who are virgins and commit suicide, and, you know, self-explanatory title, right? Anyway. So it's about this family of girls who basically there are 4 of them, 5 of them. My gosh, I don't know. 5 of them. And they all commit suicide over the course of like a summer or something, a year. I don't know. And it's told from this perspective of the boys. And it's kind of like a fluid, like you don't know. There's not one boy who's narrating it. It's like all of them. So you kind of, I think you get all of their names, but like, you know, anyway. But it's also told from their perspective when they are adult men and not kids. And anyway, there's just like some weird sexualization and objectification going on, and like I think it's intentional, and I really hope it's intentional, but that weirded me out a little bit. But aside from that, it was okay. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I read it, you know, because it's been so popular on the internet. But also weird. I do feel like it's not glorifying anything, but it's also kind of glorifying things, and I just don't know what to think. I think that's my main thing. I'm having a little hard time thinking about it. I read it in a day, so it's pretty easy to read. It's not very long. My copy has really big words. Font size is large. It's a pretty book. It's a pretty book. I'm not gonna lie. I like the salmon pink coral-ish color. I love Picador. I have a weird thing with Jeffrey Eugenides. I'm just gonna stop talking about it. I would recommend it if you want to read it, but like maybe if you don't reset. The next book I have here on this list is Caught by Henry Green. I picked this up because it was a Powell's staff pick, or it was on one of their featured displays. It is written in, and also it's by the New York Book Review, which the New York Review of Books, what is that? The New York Review Books, and I like them as a publisher, so I picked it up. Partially because it was on a display at Powell's, and partially because it was NYRB. Okay? I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I just pick book up because they look cool, and that looks cool. It's about a fireman? Who says that? It's about a firefighter in World War II during the Blitz. It's kind of autobiographical. And Leonard Woolf published it. Hey, look at that. Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh yeah. Anyway, this was a little weird. This was a little weird. It was kind of like a trip for me, a little bit. So it's about this firefighter in World War II, kind of autobiographical. His son, the firefighter's young son, gets kidnapped by his chief's sister before he joins the brigade. And then he joins the brigade, and it's this like weird relationship. It was weird, okay? And I was kind of, again, it felt like a trip. I think I would benefit from a reread 100%, but I liked the writing a lot. Just kind of the distanced writing. Oh man, guys, I don't know how to talk about books. I just know how to tell you I like them. I liked this. I liked the way it was written. I enjoyed is the wrong word. I was engaged in the story, and hello? So I'm gonna keep talking to myself. This book, I'm moving on. Okay, the next book on this list is a DNF, which is surprising because let me tell you the synopsis. It's about a trans kid in high school. He's a senior, I think, and his longtime boyfriend, he broke up with in kind of like a misunderstanding way because like he was like, well, I'm trans, so we can't date. And the boyfriend was like, oh, what? And then it's been the summer, and it's been like a weird summer, and then they get back to school, and like there are feelings, okay? I don't know. And it's written by someone who's trans, as far as I know. I think so. Anyway, so like, you'd think that this would be kind of my sort of book. I like teen romances just fine. I don't read them that often, but I write them, and so I was like, I need to start reading them more. Also, Alice Hillsman. Anyway, I really didn't like this. It felt a little too focused. Here's the thing. You know how I've split my LGBTQ plus stories into 2-ish categories. I say 2-ish because like I do think that there could probably be others. But anyway, there's books about being LGBTQ plus, you know, the whole spectrum. And there's books that feature LGBTQ plus characters. Like there's like, that's the main issue, and that is an aspect that affects the main issue. This is type A. That is the main issue. The fact that Jeremy is trans is like a big deal. We talk about it a lot. Some of the things I was like, oh my God, can relate so hard. Love that. But it did feel eventually like, okay, we get it. It just felt, I don't know. I just had a hard time. I basically, I didn't like Jeremy at all. Jeremy is the trans kid. I liked the ex-boyfriend. He was sweet. Yeah, no, I couldn't get over it. It just felt way too, like I like the idea. I really like the idea, you know? Because like I want there to be more books about trans people in general. That's just like a thing. But I don't want it to be about the fact that he's trans. I don't know, but I DNF'd it and I wouldn't recommend it, but it also wasn't bad. So like I would recommend it. I just couldn't finish it. Maybe that's because I have that experience and so it felt very like, yeah, you're telling me this and maybe if you weren't trans, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, oh yeah, okay, that's what it's like, oh, okay. I was like, I get it, move on. Anyway, moving on. Another Miss Marple murder. Agatha Christie, the murder at the vicarage. Miss Marple. This is my third Miss Marple mystery. I'm actually going to go to Powell's today and get a fourth because I like having one on my shelf to like turn to when I want an Agatha Christie Miss Marple murder. This one is about the vicar. There's a murder that happens in his study. And of course, it's a murder mystery. Who did it? It's a whodunit. I love Agatha Christie. I love her writing. I like the murder mystery ones. I read a Tommy and Tuppence thing. It was like a political intrigue. Not my thing. Stolen papers. I don't know. Not my thing. The murder mysteries, however. So I'm going to finish my Miss Marple and then I'm going to move on probably to Hercule Poirot because, wow, it's so fun. Oh my gosh. Who did it? I don't know. I tried to solve one of these once. Failed miserably, but they're really fun to read because you're always like at the end, you're like, oh, he did it or she, or well, yeah, they did it. And they have been in the story and I didn't even suspect them, but like, it makes so much sense that they did it. How come I didn't get it? You know, why didn't I see that? Why am I silly McGee and didn't suspect them? But then also you're like, it's because Miss Marple and, you know, all the detectives at Agatha Christie are geniuses. Agatha Christie, just wow. But I mean, also she knows who did it. But anyway, The Murder of the Vicarage was not my favorite. I think my favorite so far is still 450 from Paddington, where he literally throws a woman's body out the window of the train. She's dead. I mean, it's bad, obviously. Don't do that. Like, don't commit murder. But anyway, so yes, Miss Marple, we love. Highly recommend any Miss Marple, any Agatha Christie murder mystery. 100%, hands down. I read this because I was in a little bit of a reading slump. It took me a while to read, which normally these take me 1 to 2 days. This took me like 4. But I'm glad I read it. I had a good time. Love these new covers. What can I say? And speaking of Leonard Woolf, we have Moments of Being by Virginia Woolf. Leonard Woolf's wife and co-publishing company owner. This is Moments of Being. It is essays about her past. Written when she was like 50, 60. I think it's like reflections. There's a letter essay about her sister written to her niece. There's 3 pieces that she wrote for something about her past. Like one about her house, one about her other house, one about her dad and her mom, and one about how she's a slob. Anyway, so I really enjoyed it. I really, really, really like Virginia Woolf. She's one of my favorite authors. I'm just looking at my Virginia Woolf stack. I love Virginia Woolf. My gosh. I wanted to read, so basically I bought this because I wanted to read 22 Hyde Park Gate, which I enjoyed and was interesting. It's hard to say you enjoy someone's autobiographical work because, like, do I enjoy hearing about kind of like how sad her childhood was, or like, you know, it's not like sad specifically for Virginia Woolf, but like, do I enjoy it? I don't know. Interesting. It was interesting. It was engaging. I am glad that I read it. I love Virginia Woolf. I'm so excited to read the next Virginia Woolf that I'm going to read. Overall, 100%, please read Virginia Woolf. Oh my gosh. Anything by Virginia Woolf, I think that Between the Acts is my favorite book. The Waves are Between the Acts or To the Left. I just really like Virginia Woolf. So anyway, Virginia Woolf, Moments of Being. It's a collection of like 5 essays. I highly recommend if you want to know more about Virginia Woolf. Her fiction is more of my favorite, but still, Virginia Woolf, we recommend 100%. I think I'm deteriorating. Like, I don't know. Is it my focus? Is it the fact that I just don't know what I'm doing? And I like start out with higher, better intentions, and then I just get to the point where I just want to tell people to read because I love reading and I want other people to love reading. I don't know. Let's just move on. The next book here on this list is Hummingbird, Salamander by Jeff Vandermeer. He wrote the Annihilation trilogy. I picked this up, well, I don't know why, because I wouldn't have picked it up. And then I did, and then I didn't finish it. So why did I pick it up? Great question. It's about a woman, Jane Smith. It's obviously not her real name. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. It's not her real name. And she finds a note to her and leads her to a storage box that has a note that says hummingbird ... salamander. And this is like in a world where climate change and like animals are going extinct, and Jane Smith gets wrapped into this mystery about like what happened to the woman who owned the taxidermied hummingbird that she receives in this storage locker. Anyway, not that I didn't care, it's just not my type of book. I've been reading more sci-fi and fantasy, I think. I mean, that's not obvious from the pile that I've been like telling you about, but I feel like I've been reading more sci-fi fantasy, and this just like wasn't it for me. And I picked it up because I thought maybe it would be it, and it wasn't. And that's literally all you need to know. I think it just wasn't for me. I'm not a sci-fi reader. If this sounds interesting, it probably is good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like to judge books that I don't know and don't read, because I don't know how this compares to other books in its genre or like with similar themes. That's all I have to say about this book. I didn't enjoy it. You might. Would recommend if it sounds interesting to you, as always. The next book here we've got is The Death of Ivan Eilish and Master and Man by Leo Tolstoy. I actually really enjoyed Master and Man. Loved the way it ended, and I was like, oh, Leo, my goodness. I just wanted to read more Leo Tolstoy because I've read War and Peace. Can you believe that? I still can't believe I read War and Peace. Oh my goodness. Wow. Anyway, so I've read his famous 2 novels, War and Peace and Anna Karenina. So I picked up short story. These are 2 short stories. I like both of them, but I like Master and Man better. The Death of Ivan Eilish is about a man named Ivan Eilish and his death. He dies, and then we go back kind of through his life. And then Master and Man is about an idiot master and his servant. Enjoyable. Both felt very, I don't know, like something Tolstoy would do, I guess. I don't know. Guys, I just wanted to read something, and I enjoyed it. And I have nothing to say except go ahead and read it too. Oh my god, this is terrible. And I still have so many books. Woo. Okay, the next book I've got is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste. I know. Everything I Never Told You. Same woman who wrote Little Fires Everywhere. She's coming out with a new novel later this year, so that's exciting. Except it doesn't match the other ones. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm probably gonna read it anyway. This one is her first one. I read this when I was like 13, so way too young. Didn't get it. Was like, I don't care. And then I read Little Fires Everywhere and absolutely adored it. And was like, maybe I should go back and read Everything I Never Told You again. So I did, and wow, I liked it a lot more than the other one. It's about Lydia, set in Ohio. Lydia is 15, and she's found in a pond, drowned. Her mother is a white woman. Her father is a Chinese American. So that's the interracial component in 1950s, 1970s Ohio. So we've got like a political kind of setting, and then also the family setting. She can just like she just like gets into the family in such a great way. Really, really like the way that she gets into the nitty gritty of the family and the thoughts that these parents and siblings are having, especially about Lydia, but like all around. You need to know everything, and just, I don't know. She's such a great, amazing writer, and I'm so excited for her next book, even though I think it's actually not literary fiction. I think it might be sci-fi. I'm super excited. Would highly recommend this one. I did like this one more than Little Fires Everywhere, so if you like Little Fires Everywhere, of course, please read Everything I Never Told You. It's good. It's great. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it just follows Lydia. My favorite person is Nath. Nath, His name is Nathan. It's shortened to Nath. How would you say that? Nath? Nath? I read it as Nath until I realized his full name was Nathan. And then I was like, Nath, but Nath sounds weird. So I said Nath anyway. My favorite part was learning about Nath and Hannah, the siblings. Absolutely adored them. Just overall, though, the portrait it paints of a family. Incredible. Like, if that was my debut, I'd be like, all right, I'm set to die. Okay, I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know what's going on. But I'm powering through. The next book here on this list is The Pearl by John Steinbeck. I've been wanting to read more John Steinbeck because in one of my book stories, I was like, John Steinbeck, let's play up the John Steinbeck. Why? I don't know. Because of Mice and Men? I don't know. Of Mice and Men, that's what it's called. Yeah. Anyway, so, found this, saw this, Penguin Black Spine, which my other Steinbeck are also Penguin Black Spine. And I just bought Travels in America with Charlie. So that's nonfiction. And then I saw this, and then I picked it up and read it the same day. And it's wonderful. It's very short. It's about this diver, Kino, and greed and family. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Would highly recommend, actually. Like 5 out of 5. Favorite Steinbeck I've read so far. Although Of Mice and Men was really good, too. Every time I say Of Mice and Men, I think of the band of Monsters and Men. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Mice and Men. Anyway, The Pearl. Would recommend. It's short, quick, easy. This one is illustrated, so if you're gonna, get any copy, why don't you get the illustrated one? Okay, I really liked it. It's about oysters. The pearls, greed, America. Getting down to the last couple books here. So I have 8 Whopping Lies by Brian Doyle. This collection of essays. If you know me, you know that I am obsessed with Brian Doyle. I have a tattoo literally because of Brian Doyle. He's one of my favorite authors. This is just one of the books I picked up. I haven't read it. I enjoyed it. I read all of his stuff that's like still being published or being published like by major publishing houses like Picador. This, is a publishing house it's a Christian publishing house, so that's probably why I don't know it. I've read his stuff and I wouldn't really recommend that if you are just interested in starting with Brian Doyle, start with either his fiction or his more popular collections of essays and poems. So I'm getting down to the last things that are available, and I enjoy it as always, but at the same time, a lot of the best essays in this are collected in one long river of song, which is his posthumous best of selections. So I'm getting to the point where I don't know if I want to read more Brian Doyle because I've probably read a lot of it before. I enjoy this. Again, I always like Brian Doyle. He does animals very well, but he is really good at picking out the tiny miracles in life and just being this is a miracle in itself. He is a Christian writer, but he was a Christian writer. He's dead now. That doesn't seem important. I don't know why I said it. Anyway, Catholic. Sorry, he's a Catholic writer. And he talks about these small things, makes them so important. And I don't know, his writing is just good, and his brain, if I could live inside his brain, that would be so cool. Anyway, Brian Doyle, one of my favorite authors ever. The House on the Cerulean Sea. I reread this one because I read it aloud. I made an audiobook of it for my friend Maya for her birthday. Happy birthday, Maya. Can't believe I did that, but I did it. And also you only have one more chapter left. Anyway, so I reread it. I loved it the first time. I loved it the second time. Hands down, just such a good book. I feel like I already talked about this in a recent video, but I don't know if I published the video because I haven't actually put anything out for a while. Oopsies. Anyway, it's about Linus Baker. He's drab. He's a government worker. He's I do my job and I do my job and that's all I care about is my job. And he goes to orphanages that house magical youth and decides whether or not they are safe and should be continue running or be shut down. So then he gets called by extremely upper management to this orphanage where he's going to stay for a month. And he's like, all right, why is this super secret? And he gets there and he's like, oh, well, excuse me. There's 5 children and they are all 6 children. Theodore, Sal, Linus. No, not Linus. What's his name? Chansey, Talia, Fee, and Lucy. So there's 6 children. And then there's Arthur Parnassus, the man, the myth, the legend who runs this orphanage. And Linus Baker is like, all right, this is the job. And then a month later, he's like, oh, was it just a job? Anyway, and it makes me laugh, it makes me cry, it just, I love, oh my god, the gay. I love this book so I love this book so much. But basically it's a fairy tale, but it's like not. It's just so good. There's so many real themes and you're just like, bruv, I want to hold this just like, oh, there are critiques, okay, online. I wrote a review on my Instagram. That's what I'm thinking of. There are critiques online about how it's like white savior. I don't think so because the children save Ines Baker. He does not save them, okay? Fight me on this, you will lose. House and There's Resiliency. I recommend this. Everyone should read this, in my opinion. And I don't say everyone should read something often. 100% would recommend. This is one of my favorite books of all time. Holy cow, man. I'm so glad I reread it. I love Linus and I love Arthur and it's really good. Would highly recommend. Okay, last 2 books. Number 1, The Road by Cormac McCarthy. How have I not read a Cormac McCarthy book before this? I also have already bought 2 because, wow, I liked it a lot. It's devastating and heartbreaking, and it's basically post-apocalyptic, a man and his son. They're walking on this road trying to get to somewhere better, but like, is there somewhere better? I don't know. I just like, this was just amazing, and I don't really know what to say about it. It's about a man and a son walking through a ravaged America on this road, post-apocalyptic kind of. I mean, it says after burned America, but like, it feels kind of like zombie, like there aren't zombies, but it's like people aren't doing great things. Oh, spoilers. I don't know. It's just a really good book. I would highly recommend to anyone. I love the way that it's written. You know, we've got this like short paragraph style. If you read The Dog Stars by Peter Heller, kind of like that. Feels kind of similar to that, actually. Anyway, would recommend 100%, hands down. 100. Oh god, 5 out of 5. Loved it. Amazing. Not an easy book to read though. You know what I'm saying? There are moments when I had to just go, oh, I'm gonna stop reading for a sec and collect myself. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Why did I save the best for last when I am the least eloquent? I don't know. All right, and the last book, which I kind of already spoiled, is The End of Everything, Astrophysically Speaking, by Katie Mack. It's a science book, and she talks about like the way the world could end. And I read this because John Green has been talking about it, and I'm so glad I read it. It was wonderful. I loved it. I mean, like, wow. Basically, it is just like, here are the ways that the earth could end. There's the science, but like, if you're not a scientist, you can still understand this book too. And if you are interested in space or how the world might end, then I would highly recommend. It is digestible and kind of funny too. Like, she has like a nice understanding of like that can relate to people who maybe don't science very well, like me. I don't science very well. Let's stop talking about my hair, okay? Anyway, this was a wonderful book. 5 out of 5 stars, honestly. Just, yeah, it was just like, here's how the world's gonna end, possibly. Which way do you want it? And like, you're gonna be dead long before it happens, but like, hey. I think I want the vacuum decay. Anyway, it's just really interesting. If you're, yep. Look, eloquence is not my strong point. I'm so sorry. All right, those are it. That's it. I read a lot of books. And I was posting this on my Instagram. I was saying, oh, like, I've been in a reading slump. And my aunt was like, a reading slump for you is more books than anyone would read on a given month. So don't worry about it. And I was like, that made me feel really good about myself because it's true. I've read 200 books this year. I don't want to talk about it. I read 175 books last year. I've already read 200 books this year. It's just, why am I doing this to myself, you know? I hope you read at least one of these books that I recommended to you today. Most of them are incredible. Like, it's been a pretty good month. There are 3 that I DNF'd. So yeah, 16 books. I would recommend all of them, basically, except not quite all of them. I'd recommend 13 of them. As you know. Again, what am I doing with my life? I don't know. Let's quickly shout out the books that the 2 books. I'm reading a couple books. So I'm reading currently The Colony by Audrey McGee. It was amazing, absolutely incredible. Really, really, really liked it. Would highly recommend. I wasn't able to finish it this month because my library hold expired. So I'm gonna maybe just go buy myself a copy today. It's about an English artist who goes to this small island in Ireland, and then also this French linguist who goes to the same small island and is mad that there's an Englishman there. Anyway, it's really beautifully written and I enjoy what's happening so far. I'm also reading All Down Darkness Wide by Sean Hewitt, which is his memoir about his relationship with a man with severe depression, I think, maybe. I don't know. So far, the first 2 parts have been really interesting and engaging, and I like the way Sean Hewitt writes, so I'm excited to continue that. I have that also on the library from library, and then I'm reading The Promise, which won the Booker Prize in 2021, and is a South African family. What do you call those? You know what I mean? Family, generational story. Anyway, but like not really. It's just about like death. It's like they come together every time someone dies. I don't know. It's good. I like it so far. And then I'm also reading It Was Vulgar and It Was Beautiful, How AIDS Activists Used Art to Fight a Pandemic by Jack Lowry. This came out this year, and it is incredible so far. I am loving it. I'm also going to go pick up from Howell's. I'm going to go to Powell's today, and I made a list of books that I can buy. I'm going to go pick up, there's a history of ACT UP, which is kind of like, this book focuses on Grand Fury, but ACT UP is kind of the other, the other AIDS activists. Anyway, I'm really enjoying this one a lot. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to read The Odyssey soon, because why the heck not? Okay, anyway, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. It's unhinged. It's crazy. It's wild. I don't know what's going on in my brain at any point ever. What did you think of the lighting? Do you like it? Do you like, oh my god, my guitar. Also, one of the best candies ever. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love every one of you. Have a great rest of your day or evening or morning or whatever. Have one, and make it a good one. And if you read any of these books that I recommended today, please let me know. I got an email. Please let me know, because I really like talking about books. I'm not good at it, but I like doing it. So, hey. Okay. I have to go. I'm sorry.